Greetings YouTube, Simon here, welcome back to Final Fantasy VII, and this is where it's all going to kick off because today we are starting the long and oh so fun process of Chocobo breeding, attempting to get our very own Gold Chocobo and all of the rewards that go along with that. And as a first for me, I'm going to be trying to do this without any racing involved, which is handy because the Gold Saucer is currently closed, Cloud is not with us, but it is possible to get a Gold Chocobo if you know what you're doing even before Cloud rejoins the party on Disc 2. And just before we get started, a few shout-outs. I want to give a shout-out to Peter Young, who has become the latest level 3 patron, so thank you very much Peter, and also a shout-out to Aaron, who has also recently signed up as a patron. And for the purposes of this video, I want to give a shout-out to Red Mario 13 Naniki 36, who has explained the Chocobo Sage manipulation, which I'm about to show you here. I'll leave a link to Red Mario's channel down in the video description. So once you've gained access to the High Wind, the first thing we're going to do is speak to Chocobo Sage. We can only access his hut from the High Wind because it's kind of sandwiched in between the mountains. Now once we've spoken to him for the first time, he's going to go ahead and give us a little bit of dialogue and then some dialogue options. And this is really important. What we need to do is choose the dialogue option that basically ends the conversation. So choose the nothing option and then leave his hut. And now the RNG manipulation begins. So what we're going to be doing is just entering and exiting his house 10 times. Okay, so make sure you count the amount of times you go in and out. You actually want to do that 10 times in total. And then on the 11th time that you enter, do not exit. Instead, we're going to speak to him again. And this time when we go in, we're going to speak to him and ask him if he remembers anything in particular. And then he'll give us this strange dialogue telling us that's all he can remember. And what that means is that he has now given us all the information we need to breed Chocobos. Normally you would have to keep visiting him, go and do other stuff, then come back to him. But by using this particular technique that I've just shown you, then he will actually give us all that information. We won't actually get to see it, but the game will think we've seen it. So we can do everything we need then to breed the Chocobos. But before you leave, make sure you speak to the green Chocobo for the next enemy skill materia. As a matter of fact, that's the final enemy skill materia that you can get. So if you've been following along with me, you should have all 4 of those by now. Okay, so once we've done all that, it's a good idea to save, and then we're going to start actually going out into the wild and hunting our own Chocobos that we're going to use for breeding, of course. But before we do that, there's one other thing that we need to do. Since we're in this area, we're going to head over to Bone Village, at least on the world map outside of Bone Village, and start farming for our first nut. And that nut is the nut of Chocobo breeding in many ways. So we're going to head over to this small island here. I find the best spawn chance for the enemies that we're going to be stealing from. Now they have a weird name, these enemies. Steam chat was just colloquially referring to them as red velociraptors, so I'll stick with that. But yeah, these guys have a lot of health. And the audio screwed up at that point on the original upload, so I've had to unlist that video, re-record the commentary from this point, hence the reason there's no music, and then re-upload the video. Oh, the fun of being a YouTuber. Anyway, as I was saying, those guys have a lot of health, so you'll probably want to steal the carob nuts from them and then just escape the battle. And make sure you get about 4 or 5 of those carob nuts. And once you've done that, the next step is to head back over to the Chocobo farm and make your way over to the house here. And inside the house, we'll find Choco Bill, just standing there, chilling, having a nice time on his farm. And what we're going to do with Choco Bill is barter with him to purchase or rather rent, his 6 Chocobo stables, which are in the barn. Now they do cost 10,000 gil each, and we are going to want all 6 of them, so make sure you have the money. If you don't, you can easily just go ahead and sell a mastered all materia. But once you've got the money, go ahead, spend your 60,000 gil, get all of those Chocobo stables, and that'll see us in good shape then for the next episode, when we're going to actually go out into the wild and start collecting our Chocobos for breeding. But thanks for stopping by, checking out the video. Hopefully everything's worked this time. Oh, I hate having to do re-uploads, but there we have it. Alright then guys, have a wonderful day, and I'll see you next time. Goodbye.